Meet the Mantis, a build which will let you utilise the advantages of high-tech equipment to rid the universe of spacers, pirates, and anything else that stands in your way. To kick things off, you'll want to pick the bounty hunter background. In my opinion, it's the very best in the whole game, and in this instance there's both roleplay and gameplay benefits for choosing it for. As for traits, I went with United Colonies native, wanted, and taskmaster. Being a UC native will give you some added rewards for a lot of the quests you're going to find yourself playing through, while the detriment of higher crime bounty shouldn't cause an issue, as this is more of a good aligned build. Wanted is the best trait in the game. Bonus damage while at low health, plus free experience and loot always flying towards you. Who wouldn't want that? And Taskmaster is another one where the downside shouldn't really come up. It makes crew cost more to recruit, but you don't need to pay for any crew as Constellation exists, so you can just use them. Essentially, this just makes it a free chance for critically damaged ship systems to get restored from time to time. On to skills now, and we're going to be skipping straight over both physical and social, as we're not using any skills from either tree there. First up is therefore going to be the combat tree, with the lasers skill. With all 4 ranks, you will deal 30% more damage and have a chance to set your enemies on fire with your lasers. Real nice bonuses to have, especially as fire damage does very tasty damage over time. Just the one for combat skills, so on to science, where the first skill you'll want to pick up is medicine. Honestly, it's probably worth maxing this skill out if you can, as it will make your healing items heal faster and heal more. I only ended up with 3 ranks myself, as I just didn't heal as often as I should do, meaning I needed to throw another point into the tree to unlock the next row, and I therefore also got a rank of research methods. Needing fewer resources for crafting and research certainly isn't a bad thing to get, so treat this as an optional one to pick up. And on that next rank, you're going to be wanting to grab both spacesuit design and weapon engineering. These are the crafting perks for this build, and will let you modify all of your equipment. Essentially, it's a case of the more ranks you get, the better the upgrades you can research and then apply. On to the final, and by far the most important skill tree, tech. Thanks to the bounty hunter background, you're going to start with a rank of boost back training, piloting, and targeting control systems. And for that last one, that's all you really need. The targeting system lets you pick where on a ship you want to attack, which is super handy against tougher ships, but I've yet to feel much of a need for additional ranks. With the piloting skill, you're going to want to put in 1 more rank in order to get the better turning rate and manoeuvrability for your ship. This will make it handle a lot better, but no need to put any additional ranks in as you've only got a Class A reactor. Boost back training on the other hand, now that's one that you have to max out. Not only does it let you use boost packs, it makes them easier to control and possible to spam at the final rank. In the second row of the tech tree, we have all 4 ranks of shield systems. This grants 60% more shield capacity for your ship, and will sometimes allow you to just ignore damage whenever your shields hit. This might just be the best skill for space combat, as it makes you so much harder to take down. The final boost to space combat we have is a rank of particle beam weapon systems. This was mostly chosen as I just needed 1 more point to get to the final row, but it also is a helpful bonus, making arguably the best weapon on your ship 10% better than it was before. And for the very final skill, all 4 ranks of boost assault training. This is such a fun perk to get, and every rank is just super enjoyable. First rank will turn your boost pack into a weapon that has a chance to set enemies on fire when you boost near them. And in case you're worried, don't be, I tested it and it doesn't hurt friendlies. Next rank then adds a chance to knock down enemies that you boost near, not only meaning that you can set them on fire, but they also won't be able to do anything to stop you. Third rank then lets you hover in mid-air by aiming while airborne. This does expend fuel, so you can't do it forever, but it's so cool to do, and becomes even cooler with the final rank, which slows down time while hovering, making it super easy to get headshots while flying through the air. There is a specific armour set you'll be needing to grab for this build, and it is the Mantis armour. In order to get the armour, you'll be needing to complete the Mantis mission, which can be picked up by reading a data slate from Dead Spaces, talking about an abandoned base. Honestly, there's a solid chance you already have this mission in your log. I won't go into any story spoilers about this mission, just know that the armour is at the end of it, and is basically impossible to miss. The suit, pack, and helmet are all legendary, and will come with random effects, So best of luck with getting good effects! What you can do to tip the odds in your favour is drop a quick save before entering the room with the armour, and then go take a look at what effects it has. If you don't like those effects, just reload your save and it should spawn in with different ones. Repeat until satisfied. For the standard apparel, I went with the first soldier outfit, mostly because it gave 5% faster reload speed, which I thought was cool. Feel free to wear whatever you want here, as it's not too important what you're wearing underneath the Mantis gear. And when it comes to weapons, I had a few different ones that I used. First was this amped up Orion. This is an Orion laser rifle which just packs more of a punch. Feel free to use any Orion variant that you come across. It's a real versatile laser rifle and I made sure to mod it out as such, giving a scope so I could snipe with it, a laser for better aiming when not aiming down sights, and doing whatever I could to boost damage to get faster kill times. I also made sure to keep a Solstice by my side. This laser pistol is just solid and reliable, able to hit shots reliably and deal decent damage. Honestly, there's not too much to say about this weapon. It does what you expect it to do. And my final weapon is a cutter, because of course I'm still using one of these. What I've got here is Hela's cutter, which you can get by returning to Vectera, but honestly you don't need to, as 20% higher damage to robots isn't much on such a low damage weapon. Where this thing comes into its own is how rapidly it deals damage, and the fact it doesn't use up ammo. If something isn't worth wasting your laser rounds on, whip out the cutter instead. And do keep in mind that the laser skill does affect this, meaning it can now set people on fire. Much like with your spacesuit, your spaceship is also going to be obtained by completing the Mantis quest at the lair of the Mantis. Just get this done and you will get just about the best A-class ship that you can stumble across. I purposely made sure not to upgrade anything on it so you can see a real depiction of what it's like, but there's always the option to upgrade the odd thing here and there at higher levels to make it an even more effective fighting machine. The added fun thing I found while travelling around in this ship is this reaction.
Shit! It's the Mantis! Mantis!
Yeah, right. Scanning. Damn it! Spin up the drives!
We're leaving. We're... sorry. Faster! Please, don't kill me!
Thank you, Mantis. What's a Mantis?
Now, I'm not certain if this comes from the ship, the armour, or just having completed the quest, but it does mean you don't even have to fight half the space battles that you fly into. Sometimes your reputation can prove to be your most powerful weapon. When it comes to factions for this character, I chose to sign up with both the UC Vanguard and the 3-Star Rangers. Both are trying to make the settled systems a safer place, and unlike them, you don't have zones of jurisdiction to worry about. Join up with both and hunt down all the evildoers out there. What I found especially helpful for this character was checking on mission boards for any bounties. These should be your main focus with the character, as you're always looking to punish the evil ones out there, and this way you get paid while doing so. In terms of followers, I ended up mostly sticking with Sam Coe. He seems a bit confused as to what weapon he wants, as his skills say rifles, but he's always asking for a pistol, so I gave him a minigun. You can equip your followers with specific weapons and armour by trading it to them, going into their inventory, and then just hitting the equip button. If giving them a ranged weapon, then they will need ammo for it, although they only need a single round of ammunition, so I just tend to drop one of every ammo type into every follower's inventory, so that they can be equipped with anything without worry. You also have place for a couple of crew members. While one I will leave entirely to your discretion, the other has to be Vasco. Vasco is brilliant and should be crewing every spaceship in every playthrough. Not only are his skills tailored to make your ship so much more effective, but he also will head outside and guard your ship for you, making danger close landings a breeze. When playing as this character, it's important to remember to use all the tricks you have up your sleeve. With your long-range Orion laser rifle, you can pick off stragglers before heading into a full assault with your Solstice pistol, boost packing into range and then hovering in the air to land your shots in the middle of the chaos. If you get too close to an enemy, remember that your boost pack is also a weapon, capable of knocking them down and setting them on fire. And when it comes to setting enemies on fire, I find the high fire rate of the cutter works surprisingly well for that. When dealing with clumped up groups of enemies, the good old death from above tactics work pretty well. Equip a mine in your throwable slot, boost way above them, and then drop it on their head. Never gets old. In terms of role-playing, things are pretty simple. You want to be hunting down bandits, or whatever the generic term for bad people in this game is. I want to say spacers, but that doesn't really include pirates or the ecliptic now, does it? Regardless, you're looking to make the galaxy a safer place, by killing all the bad people. It's a radical solution, but there's definitely some logic to it. The Mantis grew up within the safety of the United Colonies. They were always protected by the law and order which governed the system, and as such, led a very normal and boring life throughout most of their childhood. Their parents were traders, who would often have to travel out of the system, meaning the teenage Mantis was often left alone at home. As a well-behaved child with an academic streak, the parents never felt too much need to worry, especially as the city was a safe place for a person to exist. As such, it became very routine for the child to be at home studying while the parents were away working. It was on one of these otherwise normal days that tragedy would strike. While delivering some undisclosed cargo, the traders were ambushed. A dozen Crimson Fleet ghosts grav-jumped right up to them and opened fire before they even had a chance to surrender. In less than 2 seconds, the ship was crippled, with engine, shield and grav drive all disabled, leaving them stranded. The pirates boarded the ship and began searching for cargo. They stripped the entire thing bare and took everything they could carry with them, fleeing before the automated distress signal began. While this was all occurring, the Mantis just continued to study, being the same diligent student as always. For a few days after, everything remained the same. Their parents would run late on deliveries from time to time, so there was no initial cause for concern. It wasn't until 2 weeks after the incident that the Mantis learned what had actually taken place. The ship had been reclaimed in the depths of space, but there were no signs of life on board. It wasn't that the traders were dead, it's that they weren't anywhere to be found. For months and months, the Mantis searched for answers, but being planet-bound restricted things. It would take 2 more years for them to graduate, learn to fly a ship, and then earn enough money to buy a cheap Class A vessel. With this ship in hand, they began searching throughout space for any sign of their parents. The only real lead was the knowledge of the Crimson Fleet ambush. As such, they would fly towards any sightings of the fleet, fearlessly approaching craft far more deadly than their own. As a strange side effect of this, they ended up claiming several bounties over the next few years. They became a notorious enough bounty hunter for Delgado himself to place a bounty on them. With both the fleet and rival bounty hunters chasing them down, things became too treacherous. Their priority was searching for clues, but that was impossible right now, and so they retired from bounty hunting, sold their ship, and looked for employment elsewhere. Maybe they could give it some time for the heat to cool off and start exploring again. For the time being, a mining job with Argos extractors should allow them to lay low. And there we have the Mantis. I hope you all enjoyed this build. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, as there will be plenty more to come. I'm also making plenty of other Starfield content, with a Let's Play that started last week, and I'm now streaming on Saturdays as well. And that's just in terms of regular stuff. Guides, opinion pieces, patch notes, tons of stuff to come. Subscribe. And if you want to support the channel in an additional way, then you can always do so by becoming a channel member or heading over to patreon.com/BADCompanySarge. As always, thank you very much for watching. Sarge out.